Spain has been making the case that the autonomous region of Catalonia cannot survive without the oversight of the Prime Minister of Spain and consequently the whims of the European Union. Catalonia's latest independence referendum is a reaction to the Spanish Constitutional Court's rewriting of a statute approved by the autonomous state of Catalonia in 2006. After Catalonian laws, especially those regarding taxes, were rewritten, the Catalonians felt they had no choice but to secede from Spain. Catalonia has the highest GDP of all the regions in Spain. If Spain were to lose Catalonia, they would lose 16% of its population and 20% of Spain's entire economy. That is why federal police in full riot gear ripped thousands of Catalonians, including elderly people and even a dog, from the polling stations. Scenes of federal police confronting local police in intense standoffs. Video continues to pour out of federal police brutalizing Catalonians, a number that has currently reached well over 760 injured.
To the crowds there. That chant from the crowds, from the pro-secessionist voters, is "Occupation forces, get out." Remember that the Spanish National Riot Police have come from other areas of Spain to Catalonia with a specific order to crack down on this referendum.
Prime Minister Rajoy had sent in thousands of troops stationed aboard cruise ships off of the coast of Catalonia. The troops seized millions of ballots and arrested dozens of pro-independence officials. And this overarching presence of federal troops adds more motive to why the recent terrorist attacks in the Catalonia region, including the truck attack in Barcelona killing 14, had hallmark characteristics of a false flag event. DW News reports Cesar Martinez and his family were among those who witnessed the scene. Martinez says, "Armed units stopped us on the A7 by Malaga. We were treated like criminals and had the feeling that something bad had happened, but it ended up happening a day later." Regardless of the polling stations that were shut down, the counting of the votes has just begun. Of course, it is highly likely that Madrid will never recognize Catalonia's independence, whatever the outcome. In fact, Madrid claims the vote never happened.
No ha habido referéndum.
There hasn't been a referendum or the resemblance of one. I ask the Catalan government and the parties that support it to cease this irresponsibility, to assume from this moment that what had never been legal is clearly unfeasible. It makes no sense to continue this farce that leads nowhere.
But independence is something the Catalonians cannot live without.
The independence referendum is underway but has been marred by numerous scenes of violence. 337 people have now been injured in clashes with military police, according to Catalan authorities.
There's already people bleeding and hurt, and this is not the first 3 people that we saw today already that were hurt and taken from here by ambulance. So this is happening from the early hours of the morning, and it seems to be escalating.
Well, Spanish Civil Guard officers have been forcing their way into polling stations across the region. They've broken down doors as activists inside tried to prevent them from entering, with a number of people being dragged away. Well, these are what appear to be rubber bullets fired by police as they disperse a crowd of voters. The sound of shots can also be heard on the video. Well, Spanish police say 11 of their officers have been injured in scuffles. A Spanish government official has tweeted that police actions are professional and proportionate, but some think the videos emerging suggest otherwise. Well, here you can see protesters in Girona in northeastern Catalonia facing off against officers. Well, demonstrators have their hands up in a sign of non-violence, but police apparently started hitting them with batons. Well, we spoke to one man who was injured in these clashes.
We thought they would be trying to take off us from the polling stations. We never thought that there would be such a violence from the police. They hit us badly, old people, kids. It's been simply unacceptable. We were singing and we sang no violence. We sing we just want to vote. We sing we are all friends, and they hit us with the claps. It's been terrible. Many people crying. So I don't know what they think it's proportion, but no one here was doing nothing else than singing and asking for our freedom of voting. They were not making any distinction at all. They were hitting everyone. They were not looking at anything.
Well, another video from Catalonia shows police jumping on and violently kicking protesters, as well as dragging the activists out of a polling station. Our correspondent Medina Kochenova was at one of the voting stations in Barcelona.
People over here in Barcelona never expected such a violent approach. People are in shock, really. We've got a lot of people here in this neighborhood, very close to the polling station that is still operational. Now, people are still trying to vote here, but we do know that just 2 blocks away, there was another polling station, another building of the school that was just basically raided by police forces, and police forces used force, and they were violent, and just as you mentioned, they pushed people out. Now, we spoke to several students who managed to run away from that school, and they're over here now. They told us that police forces arrived and they moved real quick and they pushed people out. People tried to lock themselves within the school to protect the building of the school, so they broke the windows on the school and they got inside and they tried forcefully to remove people out of the school, and they were removing them by their hair, and they pushed an elderly woman out. So it went tense and violent real quick. What's happening right now is that we expect police forces to arrive. Crowds are getting bigger and bigger here by the minute. We know that a lot of people came over here from the school that was just raided by police. There are a lot of students, a lot of young people here. There are also families with children. We see a lot of elderly people and everyone. We can feel fear within the crowd, and people expect police forces to arrive, but they keep telling us that they are determined to vote, and they're determined to defend their democratic rights, and they're determined to stay here and protect the polling station.
This country has been mobilizing for the last many years just with this objective, to be able to express ourselves and to say what do we want for this country for the future.
It doesn't matter that it's raining all night, etc., because we love democracy. We want to vote.
We have needed to do extreme actions such as sleeping in school, such as coming here, hundreds of persons at 5 o'clock in the morning standing. I've been standing here for hours, and we will be here all day if necessary because they don't want to let us speak.